In Indian River County, the community knows that in order to make sustainable change, they have to get their kids ready for kindergarten.
When we look 0 to 5, those are all going to be our students. And when we as public education can say, you know what, we need to shine a light on kindergarten readiness in order to ensure when children come, they are in fact kindergarten ready.
The Learning Alliance has done a wonderful job in this community at making everyone in Indian River County understand that it starts well beyond preschool.
Various members of the community are pouring tons of resources and effort into the prenatal to 5-year-old development of their children by educating parents and offering services for families who need help.
So we set this big goal of 90% literacy by the end of 3rd grade. And because that goal is so big but so necessary to achieve, it requires that we go back. You have to go back and you have to really look at how does language develop? How does literacy develop? Starting at birth or even before then.
Statistics show that by the age of 2, the majority of the brain is formed. You're looking at children often, infants and newborns, and people not knowing the research behind the importance of their brain development.
We don't have a brain to read, we build a brain that reads. It needs to be done early and it needs to be done well. We cannot afford to do the rework when kids are older.
Waiting until these children get to school, they're so far behind.
We have to test our kindergarten students like the first or second week of school so we can see where they are. And we can tell you right then that only about half are prepared for kindergarten.
If we set children up with a very solid foundation before the age of 5, we can really set them with a strong foundation for everything that comes thereafter.
Many people in this community understand that a mother's health and literacy are the best predictor of a child's future success and are putting a focus on helping mothers. One of those organizations, called Healthy Start, has made this their mission.
Often, the health of the community is related and linked to the health of the mothers and the infants and the literacy within your community. What we focus on in our organization is 0 to 3, because we know that that is going to give the biggest return on the investment. Making sure that we get these moms before they're pregnant and making them understand the importance of their health and how that is related to pregnancy outcomes and the outcomes of the health of their children.
Being healthy yourself, the nutrients, prenatals, you eat healthy, that passes on to your kids. And having the right nutrients and stuff is what helps them grow, helps them develop.
Redoing the work is so difficult. It takes so much time and resources. And so we really focus on educating the mom to understand that they need to increase their literacy in order for their child to be successful.
You don't think about it. You just think that education comes from school and that's it. But it's not. It starts at the beginning.
If we put the complete onus on the education system, it's not going to work. We need to make sure that we set these families up for success with educating them on the importance of their literacy.
I was awful with school. It's not my thing. So I know that education and learning and reading is important. With my first pregnancy, they gave me books and I started reading even when Zechariah was in my belly. And now he loves to read. And he's at 3. He can count to 30, sing his ABCs. He knows his shapes, his colors. He knows stuff I don't know.
Understanding the language we use and how we use it matters. Language is power. You want to use language in a way that kids develop their language. They want to have that back and forth and connect through language.
Another way the Learning Alliance supports children's development is through advocating for the power of music in the home.
For kids to be introduced to learning through music is one of the most heartfelt exchanges they can have. And to an infant or a young child, the most beautiful sound in the world is their parents' voices. And that has nothing to do with whether the parents are singing on key or anything like that. But the more those sounds are repeated is how the children observe language being made, and as time goes on, they learn what the words are and what they mean. They're picking up language. It's just an incredibly powerful tool.
Specifically, they've partnered with Carnegie Hall's Lullaby Project to support families.
That is a national collaboration with Carnegie Hall in New York City, helping young families write original lullabies for their children. And we do that in service of early literacy and what we call language nutrition.
There's a concept called the Heckman equation, suggesting that every dollar invested in early education for disadvantaged children can yield a 13% return on investment per year. Over their lifetime, that equates to $13 for every dollar invested in economic benefits, including improved education, health, and social outcomes. A nonprofit called Child Care Resources has taken this suggestion to heart and is operating a model program focused on education, not just childcare.
When children have the opportunity to optimally develop, for me that means that they feel loved, they feel secure, and they're inspired, and they become curious. And children can only learn and become curious when they feel safe. So if they're in any sort of traumatic situations, having a support system around those families and caregivers can really change everything for that child and for that family.
The preschool helps me out a lot because it works really good with education, and they're really hands-on with my child.
With a holistic approach, this preschool focuses on supporting the entire family through subsidized rates and on-site caseworkers that help with housing, schooling, and other major needs for young and struggling parents.
I'm 19, so I'm pretty young. You know, I dropped out of school young, so I'm just now being able to go back and finish school with the help of them, so I'm very thankful for that.
Understanding how our brains develop, this preschool focuses on engaging their kids through lots of reading, verbal engagement, and curating specific play-based curriculum based on their interests.
If you walk through our school, you see there's not a lot of technology, there's not a lot of blinking, loud noise toys and manipulatives. It's all old school blocks, art pieces, things like that for the children really to explore.
They're writing their names, they're understanding that this letter makes this sound. Everything we do is based in literacy and reading. We're preparing them in every way we can so that when they are in kindergarten, they're ready to learn holistically in every aspect.
On top of education, they focus on teaching self-regulation and resilience as important skills to get them ready for kindergarten.
We are just trying to create lifelong learners.
With so many families in need in their county, the Learning Alliance runs their own program called Moonshot Families, where they support young moms and their children to help get their kids kindergarten ready.
That is the work of a young child, is to engage in social interactions with loving caregivers and interacting with language that develops the reading brain, that develops the language side of the brain. Hopefully, when they arrive in kindergarten, it's a simple step to connect the sounds to the letters and then bring it all together.
42% of kids that get early intervention do not need it after kindergarten.
It takes a village. And without that village helping our school and our children, we can't do what we do.
Reading all of the research that has been done for decades about what high quality early education do, not just early education, but high quality, is shocking to me that we haven't made this investment yet in our country. We're really missing an opportunity to leverage what's naturally happening in young children to help them achieve and be able to show up to kindergarten, not only ready for kindergarten, but ready for life.
This community understands that the most effective and lasting way to reach their 90% literacy goal is by educating and supporting young families, especially mothers, and by nurturing children during their earliest, most formative years. These simple ideas are potentially the most important things we could do to improve literacy outcomes and education for our kids. Raise awareness among families on the importance of prenatal to 5 development and educate caretakers on what they can do. Put focus and resources into supporting mothers in the earliest stages of their baby's development and help them understand the importance of their literacy for their baby's sake. Stress the importance of excellent preschool focused on brain development and education, knowing the return on investment.
The education is there, the knowledge is there, but we have to get that information out into the community.
If I can help my community connect the dots and understanding that reading is fundamental and it impacts our community as early as in the womb. If we can just have a parent understand that connection, we can win. It's a victory.